Ready, go.
Hello everyone. I am one of the lucky owners of a firearm that was last used in World War II. America is among the most gun-friendly nation in the world because the United States Constitution gives its citizens the right to bear arms. Shooting is an art that is used by around a third of Americans, and with that art, people can choose to hunt, or they can go to shooting ranges, or they can be on their own property if they have enough room to use it. But don't move to some states because in certain states, you can't even have a gun-shaped cake without breaking the law. And yes, that is a real law. There are many, many types of weapons that exist, and I have a couple of examples here of a few that I use. The first one that I have is the 30-06 bolt-action rifle. This is the one that was used 7 years ago in World War II. And the bullet was developed in 1906, and the cartridge has been used in World War I, World War II, and the Korean and Vietnam Wars as well. The United States Army, however, though, they've headed towards a less powerful round, slightly less powerful, known as the 308 for long ranges. I don't know why, because General George Patton, he's called the 30-06 M1 Garand the finest battle implement ever designed. Ever since the 308 went into the military, the 30-06 has been on the decline, except for hunters or target shooters like me. A rifle like this can shoot around 1,000 yards if you're very, very skilled. That's 10 football fields. I wish I had that kind of skill and that time and money to develop that kind of skill. When you fire this gun, it's got about 20 foot-pounds of recoil, so it's always fun whenever someone shoots it for the first time to see their reaction. I removed the old scope on this, you can see, and I just put a new one on a couple of years ago. And it's a more modern, high-powered scope as opposed to the low-powered scope that they used in World War II. This new scope magnifies about 16 times, allowing for much greater accuracy than the old one. Rifles are great weapons, but you can't carry them around easily, and that's why I have this. This is my pistol, and it is a Sig Sauer P229, which is the same model, make and model, but the Secret Service uses. And it's a really, really great gun. The Germans make a very fine weapon, and the Sig Sauer is one of their finest. This gun that I have right here is chambered in 9mm, which is relatively cheap ammo, so I can afford to go to the gun range more often. This particular pistol, it has rails, which I don't know if you can see very well, but it has rails right about here underneath the barrel, so you can snap on a combination flashlight and laser pointer. So that way, if someone tries to attack you, you turn the light on and it's a strobe light. So it'll flash really, really bright in their eyes and presents a target at the same time that you can shoot at. Now, what's interesting about this gun is it has no safety at all on it. So you do have to be careful with it, but at the same time, I consider it more dangerous if you have a safety on your gun because you might forget it's not there. This gun, though, works a little bit differently because it has a decocking lever on it and functions on double action and single action. And what that is it allows a shooter, normally to load a round, you would pull back the slide that's right here. You pull that back and let it go forward and reload a round in, and that is single action. Now what double action, single action is, you have the decocking lever here, you press that and it lowers the hammer after you pull the slide in, which will simultaneously load the round in and cock the gun, ready to fire. The decocking lever lowers the hammer, so it puts it in a safer position. So you have to really pull the trigger hard to make it go off. After you pull the trigger the first time and the gun goes off, it puts it a much easier pull on it the second time and each time after that. which makes it a whole lot safer. If that way you don't have to remember to put the safety on. It just makes it a little bit easier. Pistols are great weapons used by many Americans for personal defense inside their home and out. Whether it comes to having fun, hunting, or target shooting, or self-defense, I can always rely on my weapons for enjoyment or safety. Thank you for listening. And I got my facts from pewresearch.org, americanrifleman.org, personaldefenseworld.com, findlaw.com, and adn.com. Thank you for listening.
Questions?
Does anyone have any questions?
I have a question. I am complete novice as far as weapons go, so this may sound stupid, but do you have to load that every time you shoot it? Do you have to put another piece of ammunition in there? Or are there several that you can put in at one time?
That would be a pistol. You'd have to load each one in and shoot. A pistol like this, not instead of a revolver, you load a preloaded magazine in. So you can have several of those. You pop it in, and then you pull the slide back, let it go forward, and that's it. After you pull the trigger, the recoil from the bullet will eject the shell out, make the slide come back, so it charges all at once. It fires and reloads all at once.
About how many in one magazine? About how many?
15 rounds for this
About
one.
15.
So 15 shots, and then you pull out another magazine. So it takes about a second to change.
Makes it
Do
pretty
you
safe.
think that's a good gun for a woman to try to use? Or
9mm is about middle of the way, so men and women can use it. It's like a 45, I would only want a man shooting that, unless they're a very strong woman.
Okay.
But 9mm is good. Don't go with 38 special, it's not very powerful at all.
Okay.
But why would you need a real powerful one? If I were to get a gun, I would just want something in my purse in case somebody attacked me,
Mhm.
and I wouldn't need long range or anything.
This has a longer range than a 45 too. This gun shoots about 50 yards accurately. So it's longer than pretty
But
much
if I
every
just
pistol.
needed something, I
Close.
guess just for protection, I wasn't gonna use it for sport.
Mhm.
What would be good for that?
It depends on what you're used to. If you've never shot a gun before, you might go with like 22 Magnum revolver. But if you're looking for a pistol, go for 9mm.
Okay.
How did you know how old that gun was? What showed you?
There are some markings stamped on the very top of the barrel that shows it's a Remington Arms and it was put into use December of 1943. Are there any more questions? Alrighty.